Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Well, it's a word that many Democrats have used. It's a word that many people have used over the years.
Trump today wandering out to the helicopter, doing what Trump does. He doesn't even need a press secretary. He goes out and says everything. All you have to do is point him to a camera. That's it. Here's the camera. Away he goes. Let's talk. What do you guys want to talk about? They asked him a question about Bill Taylor. He's the guy who spoke this week. He's the Ukrainian ambassador who, as Andy Biggs, Congressman Biggs said, look, he's got, he's got third and fourth hand information, like a game of telephone. Some people dispute that when it comes to all this impeachment, the Ukraine thing. And again, were Americans hurt on this? No, they weren't. Is it wrong? I said yesterday, I'm disappointed in the president. Some guy said to me, he tweets at me, he goes, you shouldn't even be on radio. How dare you talk about the president? I said, you can't be disappointed in the president? He says, no. I said, were you disappointed in Barack Obama? He said, yes. I said, well, there you go then. So it's the side you choose? He goes, well, you're on radio. You should be conservative. I said, I'm me. That's all you need to know. And by the way, there are just certain things that look, you can be disappointed. You can want the president to do well and be disappointed in his actions. Nothing wrong with that. But they asked him about Bill Taylor, who by all accounts seems to be an upstanding character up until you cross the president, and then he don't like anymore.
He's a never-Trumper. His lawyers, the head of the never-Trumpers, they're a dying breed, but they're still there.
The never-Trumpers. Oh, my Lord. This is where we are, people. Kind of over it at this point in time. It's going to happen, right? It is. At some point in time, they're trying to gather as much information as they possibly can. So when they roll it out, when it finally comes, they could say, look at this. Look at this right here. Look at what we have. We have got this right here. What do you guys say in the Senate? And the Senate will be like, I don't think it rises to the level of removal. And then they'll sit there and, what are you doing to work on real issues in this country? What are you doing to work on real issues? And I'm asking for everybody, because you should be working on real stuff, and you're not working on anything. You're playing politics, and playing more politics, and that's what's happening. Case in point, AG Barr now has got an opportunity to go on and look into the activities that led up to the Russia investigation.
CBS News has learned that the prosecutor overseeing this case will now have the power to subpoena witness testimony, documents, and even impanel a grand jury and file criminal charges. So this is a political win for President Trump, who for 2 years has railed against the legitimacy of the Russia investigation, insisting that it was started by deep state intelligence officials who wanted to prevent his election.
I love the deep state. It does make me laugh. Chad, you don't believe in deep state. Here's my thing about the deep state, right? People who are really deep state, people who are like really sneaky SOB, people that are like, there's real. Do I think there are people out there that absolutely do things rogue? Sure. Every organization in the world probably has some. You probably have somebody now. You be a telemarketer and there's somebody doing something they're not supposed to be doing. Do I think that there are rogue elements that want to destroy the president? There may be some people out there that do I call them deep state? No, I think they're just individuals who are trying to do things here and there, but have no real power. Real power people, you don't know about, right? Real power people, it's, no. Again, I think if there's more nefariousness and deep statey stuff that happens, it happens on a geopolitical, not in this country kind of place. In saying that, do I think that there could have been some nefariousness? Yeah, because it's politics. I mean, look what's going on with the Ukraine, right? That was all political. Them coming after Trump, it's all political. The United States of America, us, you and I, every day, Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, progressives, liberals, Christians, non-Christians, people going to work, paying their taxes, doing their kind of things. All of us, we weren't hurt by any of this, right? You and I weren't hurt by this. Ukraine got its money. It's a very political thing. He overstepped. I'm disappointed in what he did. I think he's got a Giuliani problem. We talked about that in the past. But the reality is the average person in America cares about the things that they're doing on a day-to-day basis. This isn't on top of their mind. That's the reality of it. That's absolutely the reality of it. You and I weren't hurt by this, right? Our credit score didn't drop. We didn't get more money in our bank. We didn't lose more money, right? You didn't get sick. The economy wasn't destroyed. You weren't fired. There was no trophies handed out or taken away. This is politics, which isn't real life. It's like Twitter. I try to explain to the people, Twitter's not real life. It's not. Twitter is a bizarro world of people who are able to scream and yell at each other, who are able to talk to some of their fans, who are able to get pissed at one another, who are able to fight with people they have never met and will never meet over things that, for all intents and purposes, have nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with them. That right there is the same thing. This is politics. There's nothing to do with any of us. They're going to fight it out all day. Let them fight it out. That's fine. In the end, we're going to vote next year. Unless there's just something so egregious that we haven't heard about. All they're trying to do to us now is to sell their side of the story, so you buy this or you buy that. And most people have already made up their minds, but the average person is going about their day, and whether or not Trump is impeached or removed really doesn't have a lot to do with them. Oh, yeah, if you're retiring tomorrow, it would probably suck because the stock market's probably going to take a bit of a hit. Is it going to be destroyed? No, because we are bigger than one person. But he's not going to be removed unless there's something so egregious. But politics is politics. Always has been, always will be. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. You could tweet at us. I love hearing from every single one. Here's something that's real, right? We're talking about all of this stuff right here, right? We're talking about all of what's real, what's not, how important is this, that, and the other. This right here is very, very real.
Meth was a big killer in 2017. According to the latest CDC report, the first of its kind by geography, fentanyl, heroin, and cocaine were cited most in overdose deaths in the East, while meth was related to most overdose deaths in 19 states west of the Mississippi. For 2018, early data, still not yet released, suggests meth-related deaths are on the rise. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency says most of the meth is made in Mexico and smuggled across the border.
That's real, right? Because I have yet, much like cancer, I have never met a family that has ever been clean of some sort of addiction. Never had an addiction. Nobody's ever had an addiction. Nobody's ever been in a situation where there's been anybody in their family that whether it's alcohol or drugs, prescription or otherwise. No, never. Never in my life. I mean, that's real. That's a real thing. Those things are very real. I mean, look at like California, across the country, in places that San Francisco is. Look at the addiction. Look at the mental illness, things that affect people on a day-to-day basis. You walk outside and you look and you're like, wow. You go to some of these cities that are supposedly the most beautiful cities on earth at one time, littered with needles, people committing crimes, drugs everywhere. It's nuts. Those are real things. Those are very real things. All the other stuff is just, it's noise, right? CNN doesn't want to cover homelessness, right? Fox doesn't. Fox covers it in a way to say, look at all these bad policies. Well, there are bad policies, massively bad policies. But they're not doing it because they're looking for the betterment of, Fox is not looking for to better the situation. I want to point out, look, here's a problem. And it's because of your thing. They're not saying, okay, this is the things they need to do. And we know what we need to do. Most people are on the streets. I would say 70% of them, 80% of them, addicts or insanity. There you go. Mental illness or addicts. Average person who loses their home, who has trouble, who struggles, they're going to get into a position where they're going to try to get out of it. They're going to accept help. Most of these people want none of that stuff. No story there. This is politics. This is what it's all about, story. And because Trump he's a lightning rod. He is. He's a lightning rod. So you can follow him, and he'll say something, and he throws a fit, and it's perfect. But real things matter. Healthcare, rising cost of healthcare. What are you guys really going to do? Why aren't you working on immigration in a real way? Why don't we know what the reality of how many people are actually here illegally? Who does that? Stuff that matters, that needs to be. Because we can take those things and make them better. We can fix them. We've got a great system in this country because we've put it together. Our founding fathers put it together. The problem is the system now has become all politics. And that's no fun. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. Hope you're doing well. I was talking about it earlier. The United States Post Office, and we're going to break it down, is the perfect example of why Medicare for all would be a disaster if you were just forced into it and you had nothing else. Just absolutely a massive disaster. Text the program, tweet at me. Love hearing from each and every one of you. Slept well last night. Why? Because it was in my own bed, traveling for a bit. Oh, my God, it's just incredible. That mattress topper is amazing. MyPillow is incredible. They got amazing discounts right now. Huge discounts. All you have to do is go to MyPillow.com, and there's a new radio listener special. You type in Benson. That's me, Benson, and then start enjoying the discounts. Peruse around them. You're going to save big on mattress toppers, MyPillows, sheets, everything they have. And they got a ton of stuff. On top of that, they got the buy one, get one free right now. You buy one MyPillow, throw the second one in absolutely free. 6-day money-back guarantee, right? So that's good. So you're not risking it. 6-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Grab yours now. Go to MyPillow.com, MyPillow.com. Click on the new radio listener tab. Enter code Benson. Save big. Take advantage of the buy one, get one free. 6-day money-back guarantee. And, yes, a 10-year warranty. MyPillow.com. Code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
The forecast has these winds dying down as the day goes on, but still it is extremely windy here right now as firefighters are trying to stop these flames. Above me, what are called super scoopers, 2 Canadian planes that are on contract to California. They are working together to drop water on the flames. Also, helicopters up above. They're trying to stop what's still burning.
Yeah, California's on fire. So PG&E, Southern California, everybody's getting into the turn everything off program. Here's what we have right now. 16,000 acres of Sonoma County, Kincaid fighter. 50,000 people evacuated in Los Angeles County. They're looking to see if a utility investigating whether an equipment malfunction has contributed to the Kincaid fire. And then everybody's asking the question, is this California's new normal, which is essentially we're going to be turning off power. We're going to have brownouts, blackouts, blue outs, which is it's blue outside, but there is a chance that a cloud could pass by, causing the equipment to fail, which will cause global warming, which will cause a fire. It's just insane. So you're going to have fire throughout the day, dangerous winds in L.A., and that's the tick fire, and people are ticked off. 50 to 60 mile an hour winds there with some humidity as well, but not as bad as it's been. And this is it. Just getting started, kids. The new normal. The new normal. Like, it's crazy, right? Like, it's just to think about it. Like, there's no way stuff is going to happen because it's nature. It's humanity. Things are going to happen. It's the fact that it's like, I will tell you this. Eventually, there'll be another fire. It'll be big. They'll put it out. And then in the coming years, there'll be more. And you know it's coming. It's like, what can you do to prepare? You can do a lot more than you're doing. You can. It's you sit back and shake your head and say, really? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. I love hearing from you. Oh, my God. Trump, he's just doing what Trump does. Talking about the bad people, because you know there's plenty of bad people out there.
We do have never-Trumpers. I'm not a fan. I think they're bad people. Some have recovered, okay? They went through, I guess, a recovery program. It's called They Learned How to Win Through Me.
It's sometimes it's like having the worst version of Anthony Robbins as the president of the United States. So if you disagree with Trump, you're a bad person. This is what somebody told me yesterday. And they were serious about it. Like, you can't do that. And I'm like, wow. Talk about Kool-Aid drinkers. I always think, how did Jim Jones get them to do that? I know. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Baseball. Very, very good to me. The game is it tonight, Producer Phil? Game 3?
Tonight is Game 3.
Now, where are they playing? The Baby Shark is an unofficial song, and what are they going to call the cathedral? Is it the cathedral?
Yeah, they're going to. If they win, they're going to rename it from the Washington Cathedral to the Washington Nationals Cathedral.
Look at that, kids! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Exciting is that? How exciting for the Nationals. It's funny. There's a great article yesterday talking, and this is one of those things where when I talk about like this, the differences in everything, right? You know, because if you watch the Foxes of the world, the CNN of the world, all of those things, that's not real. That's when I talked to Kilmeade. I talked to Brian Kilmeade last week, and we were chatting. He's like, "Why aren't you on? You were a bruiser. You've done stuff. Why aren't you on TV?" And I'm like, I don't want to sit there and go, all right, because I've done it before, right? First of all, they have no sense of humor. None. But secondly, when you get 3 to 5 minutes to scream and yell something ridiculous over 2 or 3 other people, you don't find anything out. It's all about, just it's entertainment, shock value. It's nothing else. And that's why we say, we don't do what we need to do anymore to find the humanity in one another. And so I'm reading this article about how you got the right, the left, the impeachment talk. You've got all of this stuff going on. And D.C., again, it's in that little bubble, that Beltway bubble right there that they're all in. And all of this stuff is happening. You got Democrats, Republicans, they're fighting, they're marching, they're doing all kinds of, it's wackiness, it's politics, it's theatrics, it's pantomime, it's all of this stuff. Yet the city is unified in their baseball team. And that's what I always tell everybody. You find something that unifies. You find something that you agree on. You may be watching the Golden State Warriors play, the Lakers play, the Orlando Magic, the San Francisco 49ers, the Raiders, the Patriots, whatever it is. Those people in the stands, not everybody believes the same thing, right? You've got gays, straights, Catholics, agnostics, Jews, Hindus, Muslims. You got all of the. I mean, you've got Christians and non-believers and punk rockers and identifies that. You have all of that. And it's the first thing that reminds you of like, hey, there's other things in life besides this. We need to remember that. I tell them we don't do it enough. We need to remind ourselves. There's other things. Speaking of ties that bind us, she's out of jail, so be on the lookout.
Felicity Huffman was released from FCI Dublin, where she spent 12 days as an inmate. Federal prosecutors had said prison was necessary because in prison there is no paparazzi. Everyone wears the same clothes and is...
What made me laugh is they said there's no paparazzi, yet we have pictures of her in her prison outfit.
Everyone wears the same clothes and is subject to the same rules. Huffman was the first parent sentenced in the college admissions cheating scandal after she pleaded guilty to paying $15,000 so her daughter's SAT would be corrected. At sentencing, Huffman apologized to her daughter and to her husband, actor William H. Macy. She said, "I have betrayed them all." Aaron Katursky, ABC News.
Yep. So she's out. I was thinking, was she a shot caller, you think? Right? She get a teardrop. She comes out. She got spider webs on her elbows. I don't think so. No, I don't think so either. I don't think so. She's out. What do you bet Aunt Becky reaches out and says, what was it like? It's hell you don't want to be in, lady. It's hell you don't want to be in. Oh, she's going to be in it. She's coming. She's coming. The payment's coming due, kids. So I was talking about it earlier, why health care for all in the way that Bernie and them want to do it, which is essentially everybody gets put on Medicare and do away with private health insurance, do away with private medical, right? The post office is a waste. Loses money. It's a joke. It really is. So I sent 3 certified letters. So we sent 2 weeks ago, give or take, on the 10th or 11th. From Phoenix to Sacramento. 3 letters, certified. Phoenix, USA, America. Right? This hemisphere, North America, this continent, a state over, still hasn't got there. Still has not arrived. I want you to soak that up. And there is no repercussions. None. You're never getting fired. Nothing's going to happen. Doesn't matter if somebody was hurt. Doesn't matter if it costs people money. It doesn't matter any of those things. There's no repercussions. That is so freaking frustrating. It really is. And it's another reason why you look and they, well, Medicare is very popular. Oh, it is very popular. The VA is not very popular, right? It's not cleaned up. It's a mess, right? On state levels, the DMV, how popular are they with anybody? Not very. The post office is a joke and it loses money. And when there's never any accountability, what do people care? Right? What do they care? Oh, frustrating as hell. God, they're just useless. They're beyond useless. That's the best way to describe them. Beyond useless. That should be their slogan. The United States Post Office. We're beyond useless. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. So this Fresno shooting is starting to pick up steam, and if you haven't seen it, it's disturbing. I'm not going to lie to you.
Isaiah Murrieta Golding ran from police who stopped him, made it about a block away, jumped the fence at a daycare, and then got shot. Police said officers tried to detain and question the 16-year-old because they suspected he and his 17-year-old brother were involved in a shooting the day before. But Isaiah wasn't the shooter.
Okay, well, they thought he was the shooter. They thought one of the two was the shooter, and they thought they were suspects in a murder. Right? So it's a tough look. And it's not from they have the office, they have the cameras for the officers and all of that stuff. But the shooting that you see in the video is actually from the daycare. And we'll touch on that in a second, but he was shot in the head.
They've acknowledged they didn't even have probable cause to arrest Isaiah on the day they shot him. And they were not focused on Isaiah. They thought his brother was the shooter back then.
Surveillance video shows Fresno Police Sergeant Ray Villavaso firing the deadly shot. He later said he thought Murrieta might be armed, and the teenager made eye contact and reached for his waistband, so the officer feared for his life.
Now, you do see him running, and where the video begins that they've released is they're pulling him. It looks like a shopping mall, but not like one of those big ones, just like a regular little area that has maybe like a grocery store and, maybe a little department store or something. And he gets out, they have him walk backwards, and then he takes off. So the cop gives chase. He jumps the fence. And the fence, to me, plays a big part in it because it's a daycare. Right? So if you think somebody could be potentially a murder suspect who jumps into a daycare in the day and age that we live in, where people are terrified of school shootings, that's a fair question to ask. In saying that, he's running away, his pants are falling down. It's a tough look, man. It is a tough look.
An attorney for the boy's mother says the video shows he was under no immediate threat.
He wasn't looking anywhere in the direction of the sergeant. He wasn't touching his waist. And the sergeant just gunned him down and shot him in the back of the head.
Legal analyst Bill Schmidt, who's represented several families in police shooting lawsuits, says officers get plenty of time with their defense attorneys, and they get to watch all the video before making any statements. So every statement ends up using the same boilerplate language to avoid criminal charges and civil responsibility.
Yeah, well, they're going to pay out. I mean, let's not. That's just it. I mean, he's a 15-year-old who jumped the fence, and you shot him in the back of the head. You didn't even go over the fence. One tried to get over, but the one trying to get over was not the one who fired the shot. And it's tough, and it's another one of those situations where it's a tough look, right? It's a tough look, and there are 3 different investigations cleared all the officers. I get that, and you don't know what goes through everybody's mind at that point in time. Did he really honestly believe that this guy had a gun? Well, in other stories I've read and things I've listened to that, they said, look, even him who was shot had been known to carry a gun. His family's even admitted to that.
In this case, the district attorney's office did not file charges against the officer, and the Office of Independent Review found the shooting justified. Quote, ultimately, the suspect elected to make the decision to run from a traffic stop instead of complying with the officer's instructions, which then resulted in an OIS, end quote.
By the way, I don't know how many times you guys have listened to the show, but producer Phil and I have talked about it all the time. Running from the police, and as Phil likes to say, play a stupid game, get a stupid prize. That is never something you should do. Ever. I understand why people do it, but what did you think was going to happen? They weren't going to chase you? You think you could get away from them? It is, and I'm not justifying what they did at all. I'm just saying, just look, if you're thinking about being a criminal, just watch like live PD like for 2-3 weeks and go, I've yet to see somebody like really like, hey, that was a smart move. You running was a good idea.
But Schmidt says the office isn't very independent, and neutral juries often disagree.
And they're seeing and evaluating the same evidence that the Office of Independent Review is, and coming up with their own conclusion. And many times they come up with a different conclusion.
He believes most people who see the video in this case won't see a justified shooting.
Yeah. It's tough. It is tough to justify. And they will pay out. I don't know how much money. By the way, the brother did plead guilty in the killing, that they were looking for them the night before when they pulled him over. So, yes, he did plead guilty. And so did that justify any of this? No, it didn't. It didn't justify any of this. Will they get money out of it? Yes. Is it a horrible situation? Don't think anybody wins here. And it's the, what's going to happen from here scenario. But this is starting to gain more traction, and people are looking in because they said that they were supposed, because they just paid out big money a year before for another shooting. And people say, even cops are like, we don't notice any of the difference in the way that we're supposed to be handling things. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Blink is amazing. The cameras are awesome. You know how I know? Because I got a bunch of them, and you should too. Time to protect your home. Time to protect your stuff. The things that matter most, your family, your goods. You work hard. And it's getting towards that time of the year where, yes, Christmas time, things are going to be coming to your house fast. Porch pirates are out. They're getting ready to say, no, we want your stuff. Now is the time. Easy to set up. Couple AA batteries, last you a few years, wire-free, sets up in minutes. You can protect your house. I got the two-way talk feature, which I love because I'll talk to my lizards. What are you doing? Get down. It's awesome. It really is awesome. And it's just a great way. There's no contracts or subscriptions, any of that stuff. You get alert on your smartphone app. These motion sensor, you can set it so it's perfect for what you're looking for, so what you know. And again, with Christmas being here, oh, my God, come on. You know what it's like out there. How many times we talk about it every year? I guarantee we'll be talking about it in the next month or two. Porch pirates. Protect your stuff. Get yours. No contracts, no subscriptions, easy to install. Go to blinkprotect.com/Benson, blinkprotect.com/Benson. It works with Alexa. Blinkprotect.com/Benson. Blink is an Amazon company. Chad Benson Show.
I, you, he, she, it. Lucy is a girl.
Point of personal privilege, please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Shut up, fool. Ain't nobody got time for this.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
3 new movies opening wide this weekend, but none of them are expected to bring in a lot of business.
It was the cops that shot me.
Naomi Harris stars in the dirty cop thriller Black and Blue, while the horror film Countdown is hoping for your Halloween dollars. Both may struggle to hit $10 million, and the historical drama The Current War, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, may not hit $5 million.
Thomas Alva Edison.
Look for Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and Joker to battle it out for first place.
Yeah, it's really weird. This year was like not a lot of horror movies that came out. I mean, there's more horror movies coming out from like mid-November through December than there is during the Halloween season. I just find that odd. Countdown's a horror movie, and it didn't cost a lot. It'll probably make $20-30 million in its run, and that's why they make movies like that. They're cheap, but it's just a very bizarre situation. I was like, that's really weird. I thought of something last night, so as I tend to do in my weird way, I watched a trailer or a commercial for the new Terminator movies, which comes out next week, and it's got pretty much a lot of the original characters, Sarah Connor, and of course the original Terminators there. Answer me this, Phil. He's supposed to be a what? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
A robot.
Why did the robot age?
Because they just make them that realistic.
Oh, okay. I just thought that. I thought, why doesn't he look the same? I mean, he's a robot, right? Like your Roomba doesn't age. It's like, what's wrong with your Roomba? It's gotten old. Might have to put it down. It's got scraggly. It's because it's not picking up the things it used to. It's dropping stuff instead of picking stuff. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like it's not aging. It still looks the same. It may not work the same, right? But in saying that, it's not aging. I found that to be so weird. I'm like, why is it aging? Why is my robot? They figured everything out in the future, how to travel back in time. They figured out all of those things. But the one thing we can't put our finger on is to stop the aging process in our robots. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. And tweet us. Had a couple postal people tweet at me. Not very happy. I'm not mad at you as an individual. As a group, you're all a bunch of buffoons. As an individual, I don't know. I don't know you. As an individual, I don't know. You may be the best postal employee in the history. You may wear your shorts, drive your little car around. You may be awesome. You may not be. I don't know. But as a group, not a fan. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
When Ukraine supposedly gave him $3 million, whatever the numbers are, then he's got no experience in oil and no experience anywhere. And now other nations are coming out. I heard one today. I won't embarrass the nation.
Romania.
All he's doing, and in my opinion, that's a payoff.
Romania, by the way. He's not going to embarrass him, but he's not going to say the name.
Now I guess they're finding also Romania. That just came out today, or some other country, and I'm sure there are more than that.
It's going to be a problem for Biden. This weekend, he's going to be on 60 Minutes talking about this, and that is going to be interesting to see. I've seen some of it. His wife's going to come out, and she flat out says he is the moderate. But this is going to hurt him. But it shows you, because you look at the polls and he's pulling away. He can have a horrible night, but they're like, God, everybody. It shows you the insanity. That's why this week the New York Times and Washington Post did these articles about how Democrats are looking around going, there's got to be somebody else. There's got to be somebody else. No, not right now. There's not. How about Beto? Maybe he'll do it. Beto, how do you feel about guns?
For anyone who does not and is caught in possession or seen in possession of one of these weapons of war, one of these instruments of terror, that weapon will be taken from them and they will be fined. And if they should persist in continuing to use and to buy these weapons, then there will be other consequences in the criminal code.
There you go. Other consequences, meaning they're going to come for you and your guns, and that's not going to get it done, right? That's not. I don't know what happened to him, because he seemed like such a different person from the time. I think the Vanity Fair thing really messed him up. And then somewhere along the line, he just became even a bigger clown. But I thought he's got some charisma. He's tall, which, by the way, it matters. It does. Look, a big tall guy and a short guy or whatever is great on stage if it's a comedy duo. But it does matter. We are very much a visual being, and there's something to that. With all of this going on today, other stuff's coming out, and yes, that Mueller word and Russia, back out there.
A federal judge says the Justice Department must give grand jury materials from Robert Mueller's Russia investigation to House Democrats. The judge called the DOJ's need for secrecy minimal and ruled the House Judiciary Committee is within its rights to receive the materials because Democrats officially announced an impeachment inquiry. The Justice Department must provide the materials to House Democrats by October 30th.
This is going straight to the Supreme Court, and the judge basically said, look, there's nothing in there that they can't see, and so we'll see what happens. We'll see. But it's another situation there where it's, whether you like Trump or not, it is nonstop chaos and craziness. After a while, again, you fly too close to the flame, it gets boring. Right? The chaos, the craziness, the always seem to be hair on fire. Nothing seems to be settled. I mean, now we're back in Syria, kind of. Again, we're sending stuff in there. How much stuff? What kind of stuff to protect the oil fields?
We are reinforcing that position. It will include some mechanized forces.
Some mechanized forces, right? And people are asking the question, well, wasn't there ISIS, some people that escaped? How many? What happened?
They informed me that they had recollected some of that 100 that we estimated were released.
They recollected them. Is that what you call it? We recollected a few. Not a lot. It was a few. We recollected them. They were over there, and we're like, collect them. Quick, get them, pick them up. Pick them up. Pick them up. Come on, collect them. Get them over here. Get them over here. It's just nuts. It is. It's just every day it's something new. Every day it's something crazy. Every day it's something that seems to be like, oh. Every day it's something. And it's some sort of, yesterday was one of the quietest days up until the evening. And then the next thing you know, boom. As we're talking about Mueller, there's the Russia investigation is now taking a different twist. And this twist is about how the whole thing started.
CBS News has learned that the prosecutor overseeing this case will now have the power to subpoena witness testimony, documents, and even impanel a grand jury and file criminal charges. So this is a political win for President Trump, who for 2 years has railed against the legitimacy of the Russia investigation, insisting that it was started by deep state intelligence officials who wanted to prevent his election.
Every day it's something. Every day it's something. Every day it's something. That does get exhausting. It does. I don't care what anybody says. It gets exhausting. I expect in the world of politics and what you do and all these, I expect there to be days where, bigger than others. I think we all do. But so much of it anymore is just, and the media loves it, I mean, it bores me after a while. Yeah, I know what you guys are going to do. I know what everything's going to happen. And the funny thing is, barring anything absolutely unforeseen, he's going to be impeached. He's not going to be removed. It's going to drag on for a while. Maybe early into the new year, maybe partially through the new year. All that's up to Mitch. And what do we find out of this? Nothing. It's not going to hurt him. It isn't. His base isn't going anywhere. And the money he's raising is tremendous. But does it make America stronger? Does it make us stronger? Are things getting done? Are we dealing with things that need to get done in this country? I don't think so. I don't think we're taking on health care. I don't think we're taking on the things that need to be taken on in the way that they need to be taken on. I don't think we're doing any of those things. I think we're just playing politics. And after a while, it's exhausting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Here's our Twitter. You can tweet at us. I love hearing from you. It's the holiday season. Boop-dee-doo. Hickory-dock. I'm super excited about the holiday season, right? Because we got Halloween. Halloween is 6 days away. Then we're into November. My God, how fast has it flown? And people are going to be spending. People are going to be doing a lot of things. The fourth quarter is going to be mightily important, especially for the president, because in the end, we're still a pocketbook nation. We will spend if we think things are good. And it's funny, there's a great article juxtaposing the positions of how you feel about the country based on if you're a Fox viewer or an MSNBC viewer. If you're a Fox viewer and you look at the economy as strong, you look at you look, everything is positive when it comes to the economy, when it comes to a lot of things. If you look at the MSNBC, the world's coming to an end. right? Even the numbers that they paint out there aren't numbers like, oh, no. So what is it? Well, the truth is, economy is good. Will it stay good? I don't foresee anything crazy happening here in the next year. Will we see a bit of a slowdown? Yeah, but does it mean we're going to go into recession or we're going to, contract any? I don't think so. So that's a win for the president. I think unemployment's going to stay low. Another win for the president. And when you hear the people that are out there that are running for president and you say to yourself, okay, well, what are they about? Really? You're hearing people talking about taxation, money, free. And people look around and go, while I don't like Trump, I don't know if I'm ready to hand the reins over to somebody else who may tax us into a recession. And that's a fear factor. It is. Absolutely it is for a lot of people. And the market likes known. They don't like unknown. They don't like uncomfortable. They like stuff that's known. Like, I want to know where things are going. And so there's that fear out there. Because when you listen to, some of them and what they want to do, it all sounds great except for the actual making of it. Because the making of it is, the making of the free stuff means all of us are going to have to get extra jobs. That isn't something I think any of us want to do. I don't know about you, but I work enough. I think most of you feel the same way. And with all of that being said, how about we address something else?
Government forecasts project the national debt will top the $1 trillion mark during this budget year. Those numbers from the White House and the Congressional Budget Office come as they say the federal deficit increased by 26% from 2018. The $984.4 billion figure, the largest in 7 years, is due in part to lost revenue from the 2017 tax cut and added federal spending.
Yeah. We did lose some revenue. We had record revenues last year. We lost some this year, but the federal spending is out of control. If you spend more than you take in, I don't care how high taxes are. I don't care what you do. It doesn't matter. If you bring in 50 quadrillion gazillion dollars, but you spend 51 quadrillion gazillion dollars, you've outspent what you've brought in. For years, people have said it. It seems to be lost on so many people that we have a spending problem. And this president and the Republicans love to spend your money just like the Democrats. Another thing that needs to be addressed. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Do love hearing from you. Speaking of spending, AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens, fastest growing over 50 organization in the country, does just that. What we were talking about. They go and get in front of our politicians and say, stop spending money. Stop getting to the point where you're bankrupting things like, look at Medicare and Social Security. I do not believe at the rate we're going that it's going to be solvent. Paying into something that may not be there. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be addressed. And that's what AMAC's doing. They're out there addressing common sense immigration reform, Medicare, saying, hey, look, you can do things by cutting stuff that we don't need. On top of that, they offer all kinds of member benefits, retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, travel discounts, discounts on insurance, you name it, they've got it, as well as things like amusement park discounts and massive discounts at movies and so much more. And you can join right now for absolutely nothing, free. It's a 1-year membership for free. Join right now. Go to amac.us/Chad or call 888-355-1617, 888-355-1617 or amac.us/Chad. 1-year free membership. It's on me. AMAC is better for you, better for America. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
With firefighters already busy, there are concerns about more wildfires, strong winds moving back into Northern California over the weekend. Pacific Gas and Electric is now warning over 800,000 customers that their power may be shut off again this weekend, only a few days after it came back on. Much of Northern California could be in the dark by Sunday.
Yeah, how about this? It might even be more than that. It could potentially be 2 million people up and down in California that could be without power. We're not talking, this isn't Haiti, right? This isn't a third world country. This is, quote unquote, as I'm always reminded, the 5th largest economy in the globe. It's nuts. There's a great article. It is, I've got it right here. It's from Chuck DeVore. Let's try to get him on. Who is, now he's at the Texas Public Policy Foundation. And he is, it's from last year. It's not just bad upkeep of utilities. That plays a part in it. The weather. But he outlines here the same thing that when producer Anthony and I went up to Santa Rosa for the big wildfire there, for the Paradise Fire and everything, when we talk to all CAL FIRE, it's the insanity of the environmentalists and what they slowly but surely have done over the last 20 years by squeezing out all of the logging industry, all of the timber industry, everything they possibly could, and made it so there was really no upkeep of any of this stuff, putting in the absolute perfect recipe for this massive disaster. Fuel, food for a spark. It's ugly. It is. It is absolutely ugly. And I tell people across the country, if you've never, a lot of places that have tornadoes, and you'll have, think about, for all of you listening who've been in a situation where there's tornadoes, or even in hurricanes. Because I've been in a tornado in the alley when there was one, but it missed when I was much younger, and I've been in hurricane. But I will tell you, it is nothing like the devastation. Not even an earthquake compares to when these fires get rolling, and they are out of control. It's crazy. It is. And then you've got Gavin Newsom, who is about as empty. Got to blame somebody.
That greed has precipitated in a lack of intentionality and focus on hardening their grid, undergrounding their transmission lines. They simply did not do their job.
No, they didn't. But they also didn't get help either. I mean, there's plenty of blame to go around. Plenty of blame to go around. Because even if it wasn't their equipment, and not all of these are, there's a lot of issues. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at me. I was telling producer Phil, it's an insane story of a guy in Philadelphia. He got shot 15 times. Then he walked into the hospital. Police found 23 spent shell casings on the scene, but no victim because he walked to the hospital. He's in critical condition, but they said he's going to survive. Man, somebody was a good 23, hit 15. Gonna live. If you shot him, I think you should think twice because he sounds like he's indestructible and maybe coming for you. Chad Benson Show.
To the stars. Mountain climber, diamond miner, holding on so tightly to your heart.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We just live in a world of wackiness. Can we just, for a moment, I don't know what to say. I don't know anymore what to say. We got crackheads on Sesame Street. Right? It's like, what's going on Sesame Street? Yeah, you didn't hear? It's like, that puppet's addicted to crack or something. I don't know. I don't. It's a different side of the railroad tracks. I don't go on that side. That's what they should have. It's like totally obnoxious white privilege puppet. Hey, what's up, guys? Wow, you guys are we're gender inclusive. Oh, fantastic. Hey, we're the puppet that is struggling because we're food insecure. What are you? I'm rich. I'm rich puppet. Chad. So now, get ready for this. Producer Phil sends me this. This is new, right? And, this is spectacular.
Hi, I'm Jacob Tabaya, and I am so excited to announce that I'll be joining the cast of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power for Season 4. I play a character called Double Trouble, who is a non-binary shape-shifting mercenary, so functionally I'm playing myself. Ta-da!
I don't even know what to say anymore. I always tell everybody, this is why Trump. This is why. This is why Trump. This is why Trump. Well, Chad, this is why Trump. Check it out. It's She-Ra. Here to fight injustice. I thought they were going to fight monsters. Nope. Here to fight next on She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, they take on Chick-fil-A. No. Speaking of stuff like that, this is Rachel McKinnon. You'll hear by her dulcet tones. Okay, Phil, I'm going to play this. If I wouldn't have told you Rachel was the name, you tell me.
I'm legally and medically female.
What do you think? Man or woman?
That's tough.
That's a tough one. You're a jerk, Chad. Well, let's talk about Rachel McKinnon, who is crushing everybody in the cycling world.
I'm legally and medically female, but the people who oppose my existence still want to think of me as male. They use the language of that I'm a man.
And nobody opposes your existence. Are there some weirdos out there that do? That weird guy from Tennessee? We might talk about him in a little while. Right? That weird, Warren Hurst with his toothpick in his mouth going, man, did you guys hear them Democrats got them gays running for president? Like that guy probably does. But 99.9%, no matter what anybody says, they don't oppose your existence. What they oppose is you are competing in a female sport, and while you may identify, you still have all the benefits, and you're crushing people in a sport you took up way later. So don't tell me there's not an advantage.
And so there's this stereotype that men are always stronger than women. And so if you think of trans women as men, then you think there's an unfair advantage. We care about sport. So if you want to say, well, I believe you're a woman for all of society except this massive central part that is sport, then that's not fair. So fairness is the inclusion of trans women.
So fairness is the inclusion of trans women. Fairness, did you guys get that? Is the inclusion of trans women. I don't care what you identify. I don't care if you want to be non-binary. I don't care if you want to be. I was talking to Becky Lynn, who her and I, she work on a show together in Phoenix, as well as my. We do stuff together. And she's like, my kid wanted to be Simba for like 2 years, right? And we went along with it. We had fun with it. I don't care what you identify as. If my godson is trans, great. I treat him, love him, fantastic. I got no problem with any of that stuff. I don't. Where I do have a problem is, don't tell me there's not an advantage. You want to know how I know? I play in a co-ed soccer league on Wednesday nights when time allots. We play a lot of college girls who are in their quote-unquote supposed to be in their prime. I played with U.S. women's national team. I'm nearing 50. and I'm better. That's the reality. It is just what it is. It's not a stereotype. There's a stereotype that men are stronger. No, there's a reason a woman's never played in the NBA. There's a reason a woman's not playing Major League Baseball. There's a reason a woman's never played in the NFL. There is. There is. There's a reason for that. And it's not sexism. It's just nature. And as we all know, nature will mess you up.
I don't think I am a world champion because I'm a trans woman. I put in the work. And again, we have to remember, I lose most of my races. I've lost against the specific cis women complaining about me being unfair. I put in the work.
And you can't say anything, right? Like, because you go and you see, like, the World Weightlifting Championships now for women are all dominated. The sprinting. And in some, like in high school and in college and stuff, now you don't have to go through any of the hormone therapy. You could just identify. And women are frustrated. Women, especially feminists, are pissed off because they feel like they're being marginalized. But don't tell me there's not an advantage, right? Don't tell me there's not an advantage. Somebody suggests something here. I think, yeah, why not?
Would you not have male or female categories whatsoever?
So I think it's not fair to trans people to say, well, in order to fix whether to include you in sport, let's just radically shift how we do sport. The IOC has no appetite for that at the moment. They are fully committed to only 2 sex categories of sport.
Yeah, because they know, right? They know. They know what will happen. If they just said, hey, let's just get rid of male and female and we'll let everybody compete. Let's do that and see what happens.
12 months after transitioning and taking testosterone suppressants, you know more than anyone else, obviously a huge thing, particularly in sport, but particularly in track cycling. Do you accept that there may still be an advantage?
Is it possible? Yes. However, the range of body sizes and strength levels within a sport, you can be successful with massively different body compositions. Again, a British example would be Victoria Pendleton. Teeny tiny skinny legs. Best in the world.
There's an advantage. It is what it is. And I'm not saying that Rachel McKinnon here doesn't work hard. I'm just saying let's be honest about it. And let's acknowledge the frustration that some women have. And some women will say, oh, it's great, but, look at Martina Navratilova. She's gay, right? She's a lesbian. She came out and said, this is a bunch of crap. This is not fair. It's completely unfair. It is completely unfair. And she got hammered for it. So all it takes is for you, who is supposed to be, here you are, feminists are fighting for all of these things. And then what ends up happening is they're seeing this stuff happen. And now women are feeling marginalized. Women are upset. Like you're doing away with gender altogether, but to have a lot of genders.
I think you're asking me, is like trans women inclusion more important than fairness in sport? But again, my point is that trans inclusion is fairness. It is unfair to exclude legal and medical women, trans women, from women's sport or part of society. So this is much bigger than sport in that it's the proxy for all of trans inclusion in society. Talk of bathrooms has shifted into sport by people who don't care about sport. So I think it's clear that this issue is bigger than sport.
Well, we'll find out. And we'll see. Because it's eventually going to come to a head. Because what you're going to find is, and you can't have it in fighting sports. I watch Joe Rogan all the time, says you just can't. Because it is devastating. You just can't. Because especially when you transition later and you've been an athlete and you decide that you're going to transition, but you've had all of the advantages of being a male athlete. That is, yeah. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the World Cup, the Olympics, where the world gets a look and then somebody says, all right, no, maybe not. No, maybe not. Maybe not. No. We'll see. It's going to be interesting, but this is where it's going. And like I said, maybe we should just do away with male and female when it comes to certain sports. Obviously, some sports like synchronized swimming, I think, is only female, so which is totally sexist, right? I think that is. Just do away with it and go from there. You know the sport, though, where it's totally like you could do bowling. How many WNBA players? What if the NBA was forced to have 2 female players and one had to be on the court all the time? What if the NFL had to have that? Where you have to have, and they can't be the kicker. What would that look like? I don't know. Can't be the kicker. Because that's what everybody would do. It's like when they had when NFL Europe went on, they had to have like 1 or 2 Europeans on the team, and all of them were the kickers. You know, because they're all pro soccer players and whatnot. So what if that happened? That would be very interesting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Love hearing from all of you, every single one of you. This, kids, can I just tell you, I've yet to have a chicken sandwich, but apparently Popeyes is bringing it all back.
My new chicken sandwich is buttermilk batter.
When Popeyes launched its chicken sandwich in August, it sold out in 2 weeks. Employees were forced to work long, grueling hours, and in some cases without breaks. Popeyes' highly popular chicken sandwich is coming back to about 150 franchise-owned stores in early November, but this time things will be different. The company is now hiring an additional 400 workers to increase its sandwich-making staff. The corporate owner of the fast food company tells Bloomberg they'll be prepared this time around and will announce an exact date for the big return very soon.
I've not had any Popeyes. I'm going to have some Popeyes at one point in time, but I've not had Popeyes. What's your chicken out there, Phil? Like, what's your, area where you have, I'm sure you got some sort of great chicken fast foodish restaurant out there that is local to your area.
There's a Peruvian place next door to me that's magnificent.
Yeah, see, we used to have Pioneer Chicken out here, and man, it was delicious. I've never had Popeyes though. I've never, but I'm gonna try it. I'll try that chicken sandwich. I still love Chick-fil-A, despite the fact that they're full of hate. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Oh man, I tell you what, CarShield is awesome. I was telling the guys earlier. Since last Thursday, so we're going on 8 days. I have done, I want to say about 1,500 miles. 1,500 miles. It's a lot of driving. But CarShield has got my back. I change the oil, rotate the tires, do the things I need to do. But if something goes wrong with CarShield, I get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. And the shop is the shop that you choose. They get them paid directly. You pay it deductible. That's it. $2 billion in claims. They paid out. They're ready to help you. So what are you waiting for? Get yourself some CarShield. Tell them Chad sent you. Call 800-CAR-6000. Mention my code, which is Benson. That's carshield.com, code Benson, or 800-CAR-6000. Mention code Benson. Saves you 10% right there. A deductible may apply. It's Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
The annual event allows people to anonymously leave unwanted, unused, and expired prescription medication at drop-off sites across the U.S. But this year, for National Drug Take-Back Day, you can also leave your unwanted vaping device. Batteries must be removed from the devices before they're turned in. The Centers for Disease Control says there have been about 1,600 cases of lung injury nationwide associated with vaping product use. It says 34 of those cases were fatal. Officials have urged the public to consider not vaping while the illnesses are under investigation.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what they're looking at, too, is it could be the device and it could be the tampering of some of the things that people are doing with those devices. It's I don't know what vaping is going to look like. It could be because it's way better than smoking, at least as far as we know. Well, what about all the people that are sick? Well, that's an issue, but how many of them have mixed it with certain things? And here's the other thing. How many of them have we seen And they talk about vaping, and then you find out that a lot of what they're doing, even when they're just regular vaping, they don't buy where they're supposed to. They go in the black market and they buy stuff that they don't know what's in. It looks like, it works like, but what's inside of it is something completely different, especially for the young kids. So that's a real issue right there. But I think people have used e-cigarettes to essentially wean themselves off regular cigarettes. And I saw it with my aunt and what she did, and it was so much better. But like everything else, kids get a hold of stuff. And they do things they're not supposed to do. And it was marketed to the kids because the tobacco industry for years has essentially told everybody, don't buy our product. We're in an industry where we don't want you to buy our product, but God, please buy our product. That's a weird thing. That is a weird thing to be in. And the way they market it, bubble gum. Hey, check it out. It's sherbet. Like, an adult man's not going, oh, I really like sherbet. I mean, you may like sherbet, the ice cream, but you know what I mean. Hey, it's cotton candy. Really? First of all, I don't know anybody like cotton candy, except for kids. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. It's on the loose.
The call came in about a runaway kangaroo. Not the typical call for the Highway Patrol in Missouri, which is a little more than 9,600 miles from Australia. But the trooper who took the call arrived on the scene to find out it was true. He found some witnesses chasing the marsupial, and with their help, the trooper rescued the kangaroo and safely loaded it into his patrol car.
I bet if it was black, they'd have shot it. Oh, Chad, you're such a jerk.
The trooper then reunited the kangaroo with its owner, who lives on a nearby ranch, and she explained the kangaroo is her emotional support animal.
Oh, Chad, maybe she's got a problem. She's got a problem, Chad. It's my emotional support animal. Because every time I feel down, I'm like, oh, my God, there's a 6-foot giant rat in here. It's not a rat. I know. I'm kidding, but still. Oh. What kind of emotional... how about a leopard? A bear? That'd be a good one. It's my emotional support bear. It's my emotional support great white shark. He goes everywhere with me. It's a pain in the ass, but all of my troubles I forget about because I'm like, I got to lug this thing around. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Check out the Instagram as well. Happy Friday! Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
For anyone who does not and is caught in possession or seen in possession of one of these weapons of war, one of these instruments of terror, that weapon will be taken from them and they will be fined. And if they should persist in continuing to use and to buy these weapons, then there will be other consequences in the criminal code.
Yeah, gun control. Right, you got guns rights advocates, which really, I mean, you're not. You're a Second Amendment supporter, not an advocate. And you got people out there that want control. We shouldn't have these things. What are these things? Well, these guns, these weapons of mass destruction. You've got all of these. Anything can be a weapon of mass destruction. Anything can kill. And you look at the numbers, and it doesn't. But it's scary. And scary is. We don't like scary, right? We don't like scary. We don't like it. And somebody texted earlier and says, first of all, because Beto is just, he's a boob. I think we can all realize that. And like, what would you do? I said, well, this is where instead of trying to impeach the president, now you're looking at John Bolton coming in, and now the president and his AG they've opened up a criminal investigation on the essentially how the entire Russia investigation started. Then today a judge comes out and essentially says, hey, Democrats can get the Mueller report, all of it. The grand jury, the unredacted, they get to see everything. And that's going to go to the Supreme Court. There's all of this stuff going on. Yet healthcare, still out of control, right? Republicans did nothing. They couldn't come to any kind of agreement on anything. They flopped. They got taxes done. And, look, good for getting something done. But the reality is you could have done a better job even with that. You're spending out of control. The economy is good. I'd like to keep it as good as we move forward. Again, I don't care who the president is. And the way that we do that is by reducing stupid regulations, enforcing real regulations that are out there, get our debt under control by spending in a way that makes sense, which is you bring $1 in, you spend $1. Your best thing, though, is you bring $1 in, you spend 90 cents, and you save 10 cents. Start paying down this massive debt we have, not increasing it. And then when you come to things like immigration reform and guns, you sit down and say, how do we have a real conversation without infringing on people's rights, stomping on the Second Amendment, but at the same time adding some responsibility to things? But they're too busy playing political theatrics. They're going to subpoena. They're going to subpoena everybody they can in the White House that's probably had anything to do with the president. John Bolton, I guess, is in discussion to potentially talk behind closed doors next week. And as we all know, he and the president aren't best pals. But what's getting done? I think it's a fair question to ask. What is getting done? I don't feel like anything's getting done. They feel like they're flopping around. They're fighting, and they're avoiding actual work. Nothing is getting done. And the stuff that is getting done, there's some stuff. They got some animal stuff that's going through. They got a few things, but it's just nothing that's of substance that people want to see. God, immigration. Do you guys remember that? We were 2-3 months removed from concentration camps and kids supposedly drinking out of toilet and all of these kind of things. And then that's gone. Why? Because we have a chance to get this guy. Let's get him. Because we couldn't get him on the Mueller report. So we're trying to get him. It's just absolutely asinine and stupid. And I think most people are over it. And that's why come next year, it's not just about the president. Look at the person that you've put in power, that you've entrusted with your vote to be a part of your voice, that you're sending to D.C. or to your state legislature, and say to yourself, is this person there because he or she or they are going to actually do the job of the people? Without forgetting the people that may have not voted for him, that may not believe in their ideology, but not to leave them out. Or are they there strictly for party? I think it's a fair question. Lots of stuff could get done. Will any of it? I doubt it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. So I don't even know what to say other than I can't believe that we talked about this the other day. Harvey Weinstein went out in public at a comedy show or an actor's kind of it's like a showcase for young actors. And
Weinstein was sitting towards the back of the Downtime Bar in New York City. Kelly Bachman was one of the comedians performing and describes the moment she first saw Weinstein in the crowd.
To me, it was like looking at a shark, like shark-eyed.
Bachman decided to reference Weinstein's presence in her comedic set.
I didn't know that we have to bring our own maze and rape whistles to Actors Hour. No? No? Oh, shut up.
Bachman, who says she's a survivor of sexual assault, tells us she was taken aback by the immediate response of the crowd.
Yeah. And there were some people that were really, like, I think shocked to see him. Right? Anywhere near anything that has to do with theatrics. Like the gall of somebody like him to show up somewhere. It is nuts.
I'm going to stand 4 feet from a rapist, and nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's really going to say anything.
That person was removed. What are you doing? Honestly, say, what in God's name are you thinking? But there they are, right? I guarantee you tonight, OJ's out somewhere doing something. He's golfing. Probably not alone. Harvey's got some scumbags that are still probably hanging out with him. And he probably still has ladies. I mean, it's amazing. It is just, I'm flabbergasted. They're probably going to go pick up Bill Cosby once he gets out. Pick him up. Right? Right? Maybe Phil Spector. Is he still alive? Robert Blake? Who have I left out? There's plenty, I'm sure. I don't say, somebody said, Louis C.K. I'm like, no, I think Louis paying his penance. And the thing about Louis lost a lot of money, but he never rises to level. And who do you think their news anchor is? Would you go with Matt Lauer? Charlie Rose? They should all interview each other. Should have like a creep-ass anonymous. But we all know who you are because you guys are all famous and you're clowns. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. But not convicted. Right? It's like one of those things, like not convicted in saying that. No. If you're a woman, you're probably not going to go to his room late at night. Just throwing it out there.
22-ounce bottles of Johnson & Johnson baby powder have been temporarily pulled from shelves of major retailers like Walmart, CVS, and Rite Aid. It's in a bid to avoid confusion after a small amount of asbestos was found in one bottle belonging to a lot that was sold in 2018. Johnson & Johnson has recalled all 33,000 bottles from that lot, and it comes as the company works with the FDA to determine how asbestos got into that bottle. Johnson & Johnson is also fighting lawsuits alleging talc and baby powder contained cancer-causing asbestos. The companies denied that. Other size bottles are still on sale.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a commercial, like one of those commercials at night. It's like, have you ever used, like, baby powder? I'm like, yeah. Like, it's just now. Because remember, when you sue a company, you're going to bring your expert, right? So, like, the Monsanto and the whole Roundup thing. You just need a jury or two and a better story and a better expert, because they're going to tell their side. Their expert's going to show up. Your expert's going to show up. They're going to tell completely opposite things. And if you pick the jury correctly, depending on what side you're on, that's it. And you need one sympathetic jury. And remember, in civil cases, it doesn't have to be unanimous. And I'm like, baby powder? Really? Like, that's... Ew. Nuts. So if you have Johnson & Johnson baby powder, you better want to check and see if it's been recalled, because you may be having some asbestos. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. You could tweet at us. I do work with an organization that is awesome. It's amazing. Ernesto, who runs Wounded Paw Project, is incredible. You need to check it out for yourself. We were talking about it yesterday. If you go to the website, it's hard not to just see the amazing things that they're doing and to talk to them, and they'll pick up the phone and talk to you about all of the stuff they do with the shelter animals. So what they do is they recognize the need of helping our veterans, our first responders, and their family, but they also recognize the need of the fact that there's too many animals, in particular dogs, out there being euthanized on a daily basis. They rescue dogs and turn them in to service dogs. So from shelter dogs to service dogs. And it is incredible. I want you to check it out. Go to woundedpawproject.org. They're looking for unwanted vehicles. And I talked to a lot of people, up until a few months ago, we had an unwanted vehicle. People say, how do people? Yeah, they do. So it could be, I say if it flies or floats, right? An RV, truck, car, whatever you have, boat, they'll take it, come pick it up, and the proceeds go to helping unite our furry best friends with our nation's heroes. And it is amazing, amazing. They also take cash donations. So if you don't have a car or vehicle, they do that great tax-deductible gift. Call woundedpawproject.org. Go to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org, or call 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729. You're going to be saving a paw to save a life. It's woundedpawproject.org. Chad Benson Show.
Boys, give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers.
One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? NBA is trending. New Orleans is playing on one of their stations. And, they thought they were going to have Zion Williamson, so I'm sure all these games they put on early in the year because they thought they were going to have Zion. Instead, he's hurt yet again. He's brittle. Brittle, they say. What else is trending? Google Eddie Murphy. Why? Because people are talking about his movie, Dolomite Is My Name, and it's getting Oscar buzz. And it's based on a true story of Rudy Ray Moore, who conceived of this Dolomite. It's a guy who wanted to be in the movie industry and essentially just did it. And it looks great, and he looks amazing in it. So Felicity Huffman is trending. Why is that? Because she's been released from prison. She did her time. She could do 10 days standing on her head. She is free. Twitter. Butt dial. If you guys haven't heard, the butt dial. But Rudy Giuliani, who had spoken to a person earlier in the day that was a NBC reporter, and butt dialed him and was talking about something. You can make out kind of what he says, that it's 3 minutes. You don't really get the full context of it all, but it's kind of funny. He's talking about money and getting to certain places, and goodness me. Tim is trending. Why? Because Trump tweeted at Tim Cook from Apple. Doesn't like the swipe, apparently. Does not like the swipe. Told him, I missed that button. Jane Fonda, because Jane Fonda was arrested again, as well as Ted Danson, because they're protesting climate change. Good for them. Good for them. So they're protesting climate change every Friday until the end of the year that she wants to be arrested. So congratulations to them. And Kenny G. And the reason Kenny G and Kanye are currently enjoying the trending on the interwebs is because of Kanye's new album, which, even Kenny G's on.
It's called Jesus is King.
Jesus is Lord.
And instead of rapping about having sex with Taylor Swift, the themes are more religious. Song titles include Follow God, Jesus is Lord. The album, which has been delayed several times, also arrives with a 30-minute IMAX movie called Jesus.
Oh, I can't even. What do you say? I don't mind Kanye. It's got an IMAX. The dude does it big. He does it big. Let's not pretend that he doesn't do it big. I didn't know he'd rapped about Taylor Swift and having sex and stuff. Did he do? I didn't. And now every week he's putting on Sunday shows. That's interesting. That's interesting, right? I did not. I was unaware of such things. I was unaware that he was out there doing rapping about one thing and then doing something else. I watched the other day. There was a like one of the older Kardashian shows, and they were building their house, and Kanye wasn't on it, but they were inside the house they were building and on their compound, and she's just like, the house isn't even anywhere near being finished, but he's got pictures all over the wall of what the house is going to look like, and he's put him and her in all of these pictures. And I thought, hey, he's a visionary. He's interesting, for sure. 323-538-2423. What are you going to say? Oh, he's an idiot. And I think he's doing okay. I don't know about you. I think he's got it kind of on lockdown. Married to Kim Kardashian, not broke, speaks his mind, seems to be enjoying his life. I think all of us would be like, yeah, I'd do that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me your love, your hate. Somebody tweeted, we were talking earlier about the lady whose emotional support kangaroo got out. Guy's like, where do you get those? Can I get a rhino? I don't think so. I don't think so. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Mark Benioff, Salesforce founder and CEO, told me last week unequivocally capitalism is dead. Is it?
Unequivocally, no, it's not dead. It's not dead. We're the envy of the developed and, frankly, the underdeveloped world in terms of our system. There's no doubt in my mind. It has always needed to be tinkered with. There's no purity of classical capitalism. There needs to be regulation. You have people striving. They shouldn't be allowed to win and monopolize. There have to be a lot of treatments and a lot of tinkering and a lot of potentially redistribution and making things fairer, always. But capitalism is not dead.
No, it's not. It is not dead. That's Lloyd Blankenstein, I think his name is. I always screw it up. But he's worth about $1 billion. It's not, Blankfein, my bad. He's worth about $1 billion, right? He's a former chairman of Goldman Sachs, and he's been there he's still there, but he's like, this guy's done everything. Huge investment banker guy. And it's not dead. It's not. Can it be fairer? Yes, I think it can. Right? Nobody ever wants to address the elephant in the room, which is taxes. How do you do it? There's a lot of different ways, right? But we're always looking for, we created this system, right? And this is where is a perfect example of bureaucracy run amok. Taxes is everything that is bureaucracy run amok. To continue to put things into tax code after tax code creates insanity, which it creates opportunities to have the loopholes that nobody wants people to have because everybody wants everybody to pay their fair share. And, he talked about regulation. People say, oh, people like you aren't for No, I am for regulation. I'm for regulation that works. I'm for regulation that's real. I'm not for over-regulations. I'm not for, stupid, non-common sense regulation. I'm for stuff that's real. I want things to work. And if they don't work, to not continue to put money into it and or continue to do the same thing over and over again, which is what we see in politics and in all of these agencies. Let's be real. It takes a certain somebody to be these bureaucracy folk and civil servants that get into it takes a certain mindset. And most of these people, they've never worked in the real world. It's not dead. It's not. Can we redesign it along the way to make it fairer? Yes. Can we do things that are somewhat more equitable? In particular, the way that we distribute not so much the wealth, but the abilities and knowledge to create wealth, I absolutely think so. Should people be paying their fair share? Yes. What is everybody's fair share? Well, that's debatable. I'm battling right now, state of California. They still want fair share of stuff that it's not theirs. How much more fair share do you want? I haven't lived there for 2 years. That doesn't matter. You didn't inform somebody that you were leaving. I didn't think I had to. We want your fair. What's your fair share? Right? How many more taxes and fees can they put on people and still not figure out how to do things the right way? How many more agencies do you need across the board, not just on a state level, but on a federal level? There are so many things that we could do to make things not only fairer, more equitable, but I think would actually work and address a lot of the problems we have. But when you have bureaucracy at the size of what it is, it's like trying to turn a tugboat in a pool. It isn't going to happen. It isn't. Oh, you might be able to turn that tugboat in your backyard pool, that giant real tugboat, and you might be able to spin it around, but it's going to break your house up. It's going to destroy everything around it, and eventually it maybe go in a different direction. When you got everything said and done, you've had everybody move. But you've destroyed so much along the way. There's just zero common sense. Zero common sense. It's not dead. And to kill it, like somebody like Elizabeth Warren, who would, it is insane to me, some of the stuff that she wants to do. It is. Zany Minton Beddoes, who is the first female editor-in-chief at The Economist, was on MSNBC today. So she gets, she understands stuff. She's not an idiot, right? And they had several other economists talking about the perfect example of all these things that the Warrens of the world and the Bernies of the world want to do and the cost of it.
2% wealth tax on people who have $50 million or more of wealth, and 3%. And the question of how do you pay for that, she answers with a 2% wealth tax on people who have $50 million or more of wealth, and 3% if you've got $1 billion of wealth. But many economists have pointed out that you could confiscate all the wealth of the people in that group and you still wouldn't cover the price of all these plans she's putting forward.
Yeah. Think about that. You could confiscate the wealth, and it's still not going to pay for it. That's nuts. Free market is there. Free market can solve so many things. And the problem with the free market is people don't want the market to be free. Big corporations love regulations because it hurts the little guy, not the big guy. Over-regulation is even greater than that. Free markets will win out. But common sense seems to have disappeared. And the problem, as I've always said, when it comes to capitalism is, and money is, politicians want money and they have power. Corporations have money, but they need some power. So they search for it. They do. I mean, our ideas sound fantastic. We're going to help the middle class. We're going to grow. We're going to strengthen. We're going to do all of these things. All of this stuff's going to happen. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be major. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be all of these wonderful, magical things. And it's going to cost this, but there's a giant hole in how we fill all of it up.
Well, there's certainly a question about how she pays for some of her policies, but I think it's not just how she pays for it. It's the consequences, the unintended consequences of all of this re-regulation that she's planning. And you can often, they sound attractive, you're helping workers, you're shifting the balance of power back to workers. That's a great idea, but the way she's going about doing it will have knock-on consequences.
Yeah. Which is politics, right? Politics is, we think we're doing something good, but the unforeseen circumstances that we created and the consequences that come from that we didn't see. And usually what happens is it hurts everybody, benefits nobody but the politicians along the way because they felt like they've done something good.
And yeah, the wealth tax is increasingly a sort of popular idea on the left. It's worth looking at history. Many European countries used to have a wealth tax, and very few now do. And one of the reasons is it's incredibly hard to implement. And I think you do need to have a rethink of the U.S. tax system. And Steve and I may disagree on this, but I'm not sure that a wealth tax is the right way to go about it.
No. Wealthy people are smart. They'll figure a way around it. But it shows you the greed that they're willing to hunt people down. Because they feel that that's their money, that's the people's money, and they're going to come for it. The rethinking of the tax system is not a hard thing to do. Billionaires and millionaires just have better accountants and attorneys to figure out how to get out of situations and avoid paying things that the average person, quite frankly, you are not going to pay most of these things anyways because you don't have those kind of write-offs and advantages. You're stuck in you get a paycheck, right? You get your tax stuff at the end of the year. You may have a write-off here and there when it comes to a kid or your house, this, that, and the other. You don't have a lot of other things.
No, we're not going to have a disagreement about rethinking the American tax system. Clearly, the rich have to pay more, but as you just said, the wealth tax is not the way to go about it. I was intrigued, Zanny, when you said this was, quote, not good for the American economy. I don't know if that was a bit of British understatement or not. I would say it'd be disastrous for the American economy.
Why do you say that?
Well, I think Zanny made the important point, and I want to highlight it. It's not the government policies that she's proposed, all of which she's laid out. They're good, they're bad. A wealth tax is not going to destroy or change the American economy. It may not be the right thing. It's not the end of the world. Even Medicare for all, probably not the end of the world. But the fundamental different view she has of what capitalism is, she says she's a capitalist, but she's not a capitalist. She's a government, she's really a democratic socialist in some ways. And she wants to fundamentally change the role of an American company, how an American company is governed, what it's supposed to do in ways that I think at least would be disastrous for the American economy.
I think that's
absolutely. I think so, too. In the want to take all that you possibly can, you'll find out you'll get a lot less. Rather than using common sense and saying, how can we fix this in a way where you're, in theory, paying less, but we know exactly what you're paying, but we're getting more. They'd rather have 100% of nothing than 20% of something. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Oh, guess what? She says she was going to do it every single Friday.
As a crowd of climate change protesters cheered, Jane Fonda was arrested again while protesting in Washington, D.C. And this week, Ted Danson is right by her side, slapped with plastic handcuffs. It's the third Friday in a row Fonda's been detained. Last week, it was with her Grace and Frankie co-star Sam Waterston. Fonda says industries are destroying our planet for profit while politicians do nothing, and she'll get arrested every Friday through the end of the year to get her message out.
It's a pop-up arrest. We'll be here every Friday through the end of the year. Stop by and see us. Get a picture. I think she walked. Did she walk there? Did she walk to wherever she's getting arrested? Or did she fly? Does she drive? How does she get? Is it magical? I don't know. Capitalism, I think, could fix climate change. Innovation can fix it. Then what? Let me ask you a question. I asked my friend and I, we battle about this all the time. I said, let's say out here at Arizona State, they've got stuff that's working on capturing carbon in the air and this, that, and it's amazing. And they think that in the next few years, we'll be able to do that, which will have a huge, massive impact on climate change. And, you know, whether you believe it's man-made or natural or a bit of both, I'm in the bit of both category. What happens when and if they find something that, like, yeah, this is going to do away with everything. It's make everything cleaner and perfect in the air and everything. It's going to change and we'll be able to stabilize all that. What do those people do? Like, wait, what? You fixed it? What? We can't. What are we going to do now? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show Twitter. Tweet at us. Car Shield. You got your car. You drive a lot like me. In the last A week ago yesterday until today, I've driven, this is in the last 8 days, we're going on about 1,700 miles. I drive a lot. Change my oil, do the things I need to do, but the reality is I buy used cars, I pay cash for them, and I don't have a warranty. That's why I got CarShield. I get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free when my car's in the shop. And the shop is the shop that you choose, right? You pay a small deductible. They get whatever work is done in the cover repair. They get it paid for directly. That's what I love. $2 billion in claims is what they've already paid out. They're ready to help you. CarShield is amazing. They're going to treat you right. They've got so many different plans. Check it out for yourself. Go to carshield.com. Use code BENZ and save you 10%. Or call 800-CAR-6000. Mention code BENZ and, again, save you 10%. And they've got a ton of different plans for all kinds of cars, for all the things you're looking for. Yes, they even handle the electronics in your car because, as we know now, cars are computers. Carshield.com. Code BENZ and save you 10%. 800-CAR-6000. Code BENZ and save you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
Government forecasts project the national debt will top the $1 trillion mark during this budget year. Those numbers from the White House and the Congressional Budget Office come as they say the federal deficit increased by 26% from 2018. The $984.4 billion figure, the largest in 7 years, is due in part to lost revenue from the 2017 tax cut and added federal spending.
Yeah, we love to spend, don't we? I mean, honestly, let's be real. We love spending. We could lose $1 and people say that tax cut didn't work. Look at this. But we could spend $1,000. And you're like, even if it would have worked to the tune of $999 to the positive, you still outspent. It's other people's money, kids. I'm telling you, more than anything, they love to spend other people's money. Don't you forget that.
34% of kids aged 6 to 17 aren't getting enough sleep, and it could be affecting their school performance and social behavior. A Brown University report, which surveyed more than 49,000 parents and caregivers, found lack of sleep increased chances that kids would be less curious about learning new things, finishing tasks, or staying calm when faced with a challenge. Insufficient sleep among the kids also had a correlation with lower parental education, poverty, and increased digital media use. Sufficient sleep is defined as 8 to 9 hours or more on a weeknight.
Well, wait a minute here. So if your parents are poor, you don't sleep well. That's got to double suck. And the digital side of things is there. But on top of that, and this is something I don't think they take into account, besides even that, is kids are doing so much more nowadays. Like, my son some nights doesn't get home until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and he has reading and homework and other things that he's got to do. He's got to eat. They're doing so much more, and it's insane. It is insane. It's not just, certain things here and there. The reality is we're having kids on the go, which makes us on the go. We're all staying up later. And, yeah, digital media plays a part of it, but it's not everything. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Speaking of digital media, Blink is digital. You should get it. It's so easy. Indoor, outdoor cameras are amazing. Set them up. Easy to set up. Couple AA batteries. They run like a charm for a couple years, and they keep going after that. You got to switch out the batteries. It's that simple. And get this. No contracts, no subscriptions. You get the Blink smartphone app. Boom. Right to your phone. If you're alerted to something, and with Christmas coming around the corner, porch pirates are going to be out there en masse looking for your stuff. Don't let them do it. Get Blink. Make it easy on yourself to protect your home, your loved ones, and the stuff you work hard for. Go to blinkprotect.com/Benson. Blinkprotect.com/Benson. You'll absolutely love it. It is amazing and easy to set up. No wires or any of that stuff. Blinkprotect.com/Benson. Blink is an Amazon company, and it works with Alexa. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Have yourself an absolutely amazing weekend. We'll do it again on Monday. Here's your useless fact of the day. The Queen. If you notice, she always carries a handbag or a purse with her. There's a reason for that. They give signals. she moves the purse from one arm to the other, it means that she would like to finish this conversation. Her staff will move in, politely ask the people to leave and move on. If she sets her purse down, it means she wants the conversation done immediately, right this second. And there's many other signals with that there handbag. Have a good weekend. We'll do it again on Monday. As always, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.